All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have a fantastic opportunity tonight. With me, joining via satellite, is the one, the only, Diesel, the big man, Shaquille O'Neal himself. Shaq, what is going on? Thank you for taking the time to join us tonight.
I'm guaranteed on this show I will not make a face.
So Shaq, I think we should just cut right to the chase. The NBA Jam XL Shaq edition. What's this thing gonna cost? Can you put a price tag on this?
$70,000.
$70,000. Shaq, I'm not sure if you're aware, but this home arcade thing is supposed to be affordable for the average person. I mean, who in the world is going to be able to spend $70,000 on an arcade cabinet?
I don't want to mispronounce his name, but he's a new kid. I actually said on it, Tyler Awawe. Yeah. He sings that song, I'm So, right now. I don't want to say what it is.
Okay, so where can people pick these things up at? What kind of retail stores are you working with?
My two favorite stores, JCPenney and Walmart.
JCPenney, are they still in business? I was not aware of that. Okay, so $70,000 is a bit of a steep price tag. Shaq, what if I told you your cabinets were a little bit overpriced? How would you react to that? Look, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to upset you. Especially a man of your stature. The last thing I want to do is upset you. Thank God you're not sitting in the room with me. But anyways, Shaq, I'm sure you're aware by now that there's quite a pretty big following of these 3/4 scale home arcade cabinets. There's literally a whole community of people that support these things and are fans of these things. How do you feel about the community as a whole, and just your honest opinion? I mean, what do you think of these guys?
You know, the guys are very, very beautiful. You know, they're very good looking. It was all types of big guys, wide, tall. You know.
Now, Shaq, a lot of these people actually refer to this cabinet as the Shaq Jam. I mean, are we there yet? Can I call this the Shaq Jam? I mean, is that okay with you? Okay, we won't refer to it as Shaq Jam. I mean, we'll call it the NBA Jam XL Shaq Edition. Okay, sorry, we'll just steer clear of the Shaq Jam. Shaq, I mean, it's no secret. In your NBA career, your basketball career, you've done everything. You've been an Olympian. You've won multiple championships. You've played for some of the premier franchises in NBA. You're all over TV right now. You're in commercials constantly. You're promoting all sorts of stuff. You have your own shows. You're on NBA pregame. I mean, you're everywhere. What is the reason for you teaming up with Arcade1up to create this cabinet here? Like, I'm just curious what the thought process was behind this.
I don't really have a lot of sexy options, you know.
Oh, okay. Very interesting. All right, Shaq, I think I'm going to get a little bit crazy here. I know you like to wager, you like to gamble, you like to make bets, especially when it comes to your physical ability. And who am I to challenge you on anything you could do physically? Because clearly you're a professional athlete and I'm not. But I would like to make a wager with you for these $70,000 cabinets that you have. Shaq, if you could line up on the free throw line and make just one free throw, I will buy every single person in this home arcade community one of your cabinets. All you have to do is make one free throw. Take one shot, you drain it, I buy one for everybody. Let's see it.
Oh, playing.
Ooh, God. That was ugly. Well, sorry everybody. I guess you're not getting a cabinet. I guess I should have maybe said if Shaq could dunk the ball or something like that. But with, you know, I figured at least make it somewhat interesting. And after all these years, Shaq, I guess you still haven't improved on your free throw game. But anyways, I don't want to take any more of your time, Shaq. I really, really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to sit down and chat with me a little bit. In parting, tell the world, tell everybody out there, why should they go out and buy your cabinet? Why should they go out and buy the Arcade1up NBA Jam XL Shaq Edition cabinet?
Once you go Shaq, you never go back.
Well, fair enough. I can't really argue with that logic. So, everybody, that was Shaquille O'Neal. Thank you very much, Shaq. And let's get into the review of this thing. Okay, here we go. Arcade1up NBA Jam XL Shaq Edition. Wasn't really planning on getting this one. Was kind of happy with my OG NBA Jam. And there's a website. I don't know if it's local, might be national, I'm not sure, but it's called MacBids. And basically what it is it's a big warehouse where they get a whole lot of returns on Amazon and a bunch of other places. So these items that you can get from there, I mean, it's everything, like anything you can think of, like couches, swimming pools, arcade machines. I mean, they are in all sorts of different conditions, and they are listed, whether they're open box, brand new, and there are some brand new stuff there, or damage. This one was listed in open box condition, was not listed in damage. Box looks pretty beat up. As you can see here, it looks like somebody cut into it. I have no idea why. Not only cut into it, but also cut into the inner box, so the control deck. But anyways, I saw this, decided to bid on it, ended up winning Shaq Jam NBA Jam XL for 320 bucks. So I figured, what the heck? You pay $9 insurance on it, and if I open this thing up and it's damaged or it won't work or anything like that, I get a full refund. Now I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this thing has been opened. I mean, just by the condition of the box, you know, or I mean, maybe, who knows, maybe it wasn't ever opened. Maybe the box showed up to somebody's house in this condition and they just immediately returned it. I am a little concerned at some of the wood panels inside, like, you know, what are the condition of these things going to be? I have not looked in this box yet. I just brought it in right now. I'm getting ready to take it apart, you know, uncrate it, and I'm going to start building it. And yeah, they say never use an impact driver or a or a drill, but I say screw that. It makes things a lot faster if you know how to use them. But yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna open this thing up, inspect it, and if everything looks good, I'm gonna build it, and hopefully it turns on. Maybe I'll plug the board and the monitor in first to make sure at least it powers up. I'm curious as to why this was there and the condition that it's in, but hell, if I can get a NBA Jam XL for $320, that's a hell of a steal. So okay, so here it is. Everything works. Got an NBA Jam XL Shaq Edition for $320. Fired this bad boy up. Everything worked perfectly. All the paneling, everything on the cabinet is in perfect condition. You know, normal scrapes and bumps and bruises that you get. I mean, I've gotten worse buying from Target, Best Buy, and Arcade1up Direct. So buying it from this site here, which is a warehouse of returns, I mean, it was a fantastic deal. I was able to get it, like I said, for 320 bucks, which is significantly cheaper than this thing cost brand new. But yeah, I mean, everything, it was in perfect condition. The outer box was a mess, as you saw. I mean, there's a big hole in the side of it. One of the interior boxes was cut into, and luckily nothing got damaged, but it was just the bottom of the control panel that whoever cut into this thing, and I'm guessing that's why it got returned, cut into the side of this box and cut into it pretty hard, where it went through 2 layers of cardboard and actually gouged the bottom of this control deck a little bit. But it's the bottom of the control deck. I don't, you know, who cares? You can't even see it. Most of it's covered up anyway. But yeah, as you can see, I mean, this thing is in flawless condition. Like I said, just your typical scrapes and dings that you normally get when anybody buys one of these things. Before we get into the whole review, I do just want to thank our guest in the beginning, Shaquille O'Neal, for gracing us with his presence and answering some tough questions and giving us his opinion and insight on this cabinet, among other things, and doing a little demonstration for us. I mean, Shaq's a fantastic guy. I'm glad he took time out of his busy day of being an analyst on the NBA on TNT to get with us via satellite, you know, but just to answer some questions. I mean, the guy's got his likeness and his picture all over this thing, so I figured why not talk to the guy about it. But the first thing, of course, you're going to notice is the height of the cabinet. I mean, you're looking at a cabinet that's 67 inches tall, the biggest cabinet that I own. You know, I have T2, it stands at 66 inches, so this thing's got an inch on that. The original NBA Jam, 58 inches, so this thing is 9 inches taller than the original OG NBA Jam. It's taller than the Deluxe. Obviously, the second thing you're going to notice is just a massive marquee on this thing. 9-inch marquee as opposed to 5 on a standard cabinet. And not only is the marquee giant, but the colors are vibrant and they're bold and it's bright. I mean, everything that a marquee from Arcade1up probably should be in the first place, but this thing finally has it. I mean, that marquee is beautiful. When I first saw photos of this thing, I thought that it looked almost out of place, like, you know, like it reminded me of like Mr. Mackey on South Park. You know, this real skinny body and this giant head. But standing next to it, that's not the case at all. This marquee does not look big and out of place, and that's one of the things I was afraid of. The next thing you're probably also going to notice is the monitor. I mean, this thing, you got a 19-inch monitor in it as opposed to 17 on a standard. I didn't think it would matter that much, but standing in front of this and playing it, even unpacking it and putting it together, there is a noticeable difference on this monitor. I mean, it is just, those 2 inches, when you're standing up that close and playing to it, I mean, it makes a big difference. You wouldn't think it would, and it didn't ruin my experience with the other ones, like going back to a 17-inch monitor. It doesn't feel shrunk or small. This thing just feels that big, and for a cabinet this size, I mean, you got to have that. And I do understand that this thing does have the TN monitor, but I'm going to tell you right now, you don't get, where I'm standing right now, you don't see any screen distortion. Whether you stand on the right side of the cabinet, the left side of the cabinet, in front of the cabinet, it doesn't matter. You know, either side, you're not seeing any distortion. The only distortion I see is if you get real low in the front of it and you look up at it, major distortion. But, I mean, unless you're a small child and you're standing on the floor, you're not going to notice it at all. So, whether you're player 1, whether you're player 4, it doesn't matter where I'm standing. Even if I was standing here playing as player 4, I mean, you get a perfect crystal clear image. That TN monitor thing, I don't know if that was just people finding a reason to complain, but I'm telling you right now, I'm looking at it, it does not look distorted in any way. Lastly, is something that I didn't know about this cabinet, is the control deck is slightly bigger. Now, the normal 4-player control deck is 31.5 inches wide, and that's what this thing is. So it's not any wider than your standard, but it is deeper. It's an inch deeper. I did measure that because when I unpacked this thing and I looked at it, it just seemed bigger to me overall, so I measured it. And the depth on your normal Arcade1up cabinet is 13 inches. This thing is at 14. Now the buttons and the joysticks they're all the same. They're your standard. I think it's the exact same bat tops that are on the original NBA Jam. And I noticed when I started this up and I was setting everything up, and I'm gonna have to look into this a little bit more, there was an option to hook a microphone up to this thing for voice chat. But there's nothing on the control panel. There's no microphone port or phone jack or anything like that on the or a mic jack on the control panel. So that's something that I'm just gonna have to look into, unless it has a built-in microphone somewhere. But I'm curious to see how that works and if anybody even used it or uses it. And I will say this: I'm kind of a fan of arcade accurate. You know, I mean, I do have some exceptions like Blitz out there. Like I really love that Blitz cabinet, and it didn't bother me one bit that it didn't have original artwork. But this one did. I never really liked the fact that you don't have that original NBA Jam look on the front or the side of the cabinet. It's kind of like their own custom thing, because you got, you know, Shaq dunking the ball on the side. You got Shaq on the front of it with, you know, with his signature. But standing here looking at it, it doesn't. I don't think it's really going to bother me all that much. As a matter of fact, it's not going to bother me at all. And plus, when I eventually get into the game room, my cabinets aren't super tight together. There's enough of a space so you can see each of the cabinet art on the side. But yeah, I don't really think that it's going to bother me all that much. Just mainly because going from a Gen 1 NBA Jam to this, I mean, the cabinet shape alone and the marquee alone is a giant improvement. I was a little disappointed that it didn't come with a coin door or double coin doors, because to me that's just something that I like seeing when I go into my game room, is the cabinets being illuminated, the marquees being illuminated, and the coin doors being illuminated. So I am going to place an order with Retro 530 here soon, and I'm going to get 2 lit coin doors for this thing. I'm going to put them in on the front. I wish Arcade1up made their own coin doors available, because those are really nice, but they don't, so whatever, it is what it is. But I think this thing's going to look really, really sharp with double coin door on it, which I definitely plan on adding. But like the other 2 NBA Jams they have out there, you have the same 3 games. You have NBA Jam, you have NBA Jam Tournament Edition, and you have NBA Hang Time. So the reason why I got this is mainly because of the price. That's the main reason. I could live with my NBA Jam that I have now. The size and the look of this thing alone wasn't enough for me to pay that amount of money to upgrade it, to pay $6.99. Especially because even the original NBA Jam is online capable. So I really didn't get anything out of this at all, other than I upgraded the look of the thing. But I did get it for $320. That is exactly why I did it, because I'm fairly certain that I can sell my original NBA Jam and probably get $250 for it. I feel fairly certain that I'll be able to get that. So that's a $70 swing on a Gen 1 NBA Jam to an XL. So I do appreciate everybody checking it out. Are they worth it at full price? I mean, if you could find one for $4.99, $5.99, I would say that's probably a pretty fair price for it. $6.99, I think, is what it was released at. It was that's a bit steep, especially for me. I mean, I'm kind of a deal shopper, you know, and I have a hard time passing up on a deal. And in the bidding process throughout this whole thing, there was a time up until probably within a day of when the auction went off, I was getting fairly excited that there was the potential of me being actually able to buy this for $150. But then when it got, like anything else, when it got closer to the bid going up, other bids started coming in on it. And the thing about this site, it's unlike eBay. You can't snipe somebody at the last second. If somebody tries to do that, it automatically will add an extra 2 minutes onto the bid process, which I really, really like, because how many times have all of us, I'm sure we've all lost out on stuff on eBay and stuff like that, where people get you at the last second. Not this. And if you sign up for, if you sign up for the notifications, anytime somebody bids on something, you get that notification. And especially whenever that happened a couple times within the last 2 minutes, somebody went to put a bid on it. So I got another chance to at least match or beat their bid, which I ended up doing. The whoever bid on it, it was up to 300, and I couldn't. I told myself that 300 was going to be my limit on it, but I couldn't. I don't think I'd be able to sleep at night knowing that I lost out on an NBA Jam XL for $300. So I just threw a couple extra dollars on it. I think my max bid was $350, and apparently the whoever I was bidding against decided that $320 was enough. They backed out, and sure enough, here it is. There was a little bit of concern when I took the thing out that it was going to be severely damaged. That wasn't the case. Every piece was there. There weren't no significant damage whatsoever. It fired up. Everything in the box itself was packed in its original packaging. So it was obvious that this thing had never been opened aside from the box looking like it got, hit by a cement truck. But anyways, that's my take on this thing. Wasn't expecting on getting it. It just kind of fell into my lap, and I'm extremely happy and excited that I did get it. And like I said, plan on selling my other one. So anybody out there is interested in the OG NBA Jam, $250. It's yours. You just got to come to Pennsylvania to pick it up. So again, thank you to Shaquille O'Neal, the man himself. Decided took some time out of his busy work schedule to come and answer some questions and hang out for a minute. And thanks to everybody else for checking this thing out. And maybe we'll do a little comparison video before I sell my original NBA Jam. Maybe we'll stick the two side by side and just compare the two, because I don't know, I think it would be kind of interesting to see the original sitting right next to this one and see how different they really are when they're sitting right beside each other. So thanks everybody, and we'll catch you next time.